Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Female Esports League, and my name is Iris. I will be casting for today's AOV matches. It's gonna be an interesting one because it's gonna be the four combined regions of Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, as well as Indonesia as well. So it's gonna be pretty good. And first game of the day, we have Liyab Haliya up against Khaleesi team. That's gonna be quite an interesting tongue twister. But yeah, pretty interesting draft so far. We got Zip taken off the board, Violet as well as Maja. Pretty different, a very different draft as compared to what we saw compared to the rest of the regions that we have seen, especially the Thailand as well as the Taiwan's draft. Slightly different, not too much of a worry because it's only the first phase. But we have a Malak first pick coming in from Liyab Haliya. We have seen the Thailand as well as the Taiwan regions really abuse that early game cleave. And then we also have the Yon and D-Rock getting picked up. So majors as well as carriers is a priority for Khaleesi. But remember, if you are watching the Female Esports League for the first time and you want to catch up more on all the matches that have happened in the past few weeks leading into the FSL Elite, you can catch us on Facebook as well as Instagram. That's where all our updates are. Remember, the FSL circuit will be running 4 games as well as 2 times, and once the qualifiers have done, we'll take top teams coming from the respective regions and we'll put them in the FSL Elite that will be happening in Singapore later this year. But first off, a big shout out to our sponsors as well: Dreamcore, Super Solid, Yahoo, as well as Aftershock. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. And big shout out to you guys for joining in on today's Saturday stream as well. Hope you guys are having a very good weekend. So let's head back to the draft, shall we? Liyab Haliya gonna be picking up Liliana. I think it's not too bad. They do have a little bit of a catch onto the Yon, a little bit of a setup with the Omen as well. You have the lockdown, so you don't have to worry too much about what's gonna come up from Khaleesi team. Although they do pick up a Teen, so that will help in terms of not only sustain, but he has the burst. So that's one thing that they have to look out for. Murad gonna be banned out, obviously. For the side of Khaleesi team, they have to ban out those heroes that can catch out the Yon. Doesn't have the best of mobility, but he does have a ton of burst. So that is what they're looking to abuse, right? They want to get really close and personal. They want to close down to not only the towers, but they want to clear those whips really quickly as well. So I think Tane and Yon is a really good pickup. It's gonna be a hyper protect. Looks like Valheim might get banned out as well. So a lot of bursty heroes on the side of Khaleesi team getting banned out. Or in a sense, they don't want to have all these heroes that have a ton of burst handed over to Liyab Haliya. And obviously, they have that Omen to kind of worry about us at the same time. So that's why they kind of picked up Tane. Could not get banned out on the side of Liyab Haliya. So they are pretty much setting up for their MMs right now. I think Alsu would be a pretty good pick. Either the Alsu, they could go really aggressive and pick up the Fennec, just because Fennec does really well against the Tane. He has that rolling thunder. He can pretty much get out of range. Doesn't really have to worry about what Yon has to put on the table as well, because Fennec's pretty much gonna be split pushing until he's able to get enough farm to join those team fights, and that's where they have the Marlock and Omen to kind of peel for them. And obviously they have Marlock with the Stomp. If you can get a good one, especially onto the Yon, then they have a really good team fight setup for the side of Liyab Haliya. But looks like Khaleesi team will pick up the Zenith after falling through with that Valheim ban out. Interesting pickup. I think Zenith, it's quite a love-hate relationship, especially in the earlier half of last year. I don't think anyone was really playing too much for Zenith, but it's not too bad. Has a decent stun, high amount of burst, but super late game. So that is where they are looking to bring it to. Khaleesi team, the team. They want to go super late. They have D-Rock, the Yon, team to kind of buff up for the mid game. But I gotta say, I'm leaning towards Liyab Haliya's draft right now. Marlock early game, Liliana early game, Omen does well in the 1v1. The top side, you got Fennec that has so much burst coming into not only the mid but the late game as well. And they pick a Crash, so even more sustained and even more pure for Liyab Haliya. I really like their draft. I don't really think they have too much of a weakness. Although I don't think Crash needs that flicker. I think he can kind of go a little bit aggressive, maybe something different. But both works. So Roxy is a good choice, right? Roxy does well against Omen. She's able to withstand as well. We have seen the Thailand side do really well with Roxy, and we know how important it is to have that top lane kind of win out for your team. And I have interesting numbers on my hands right now. I'm looking at the stats as well. A lot of bans throughout. Oops, I kind of dropped one on the ground right there. But yeah, pretty interesting stats throughout. The interesting fact is that we did not see Krigzik getting touched at all. That is one big thing that I'm really surprised about. I mean, Krigzik, you kind of expect him to be either picked up or banned. He's like almost 100% pick ban rate, right? 100% in the Taiwan qualifiers, and then in the Thailand qualifiers, it was an 84% ban rate. So that's a really high number, and I mean, I'm not too surprised. He has camouflage for the engage. You know, he's really good as well. Same goes for Zip, right? Zip has angry. He's able to engage and disengage. He's able to stack the waves. The only downside is when it comes down to teamfight, he doesn't really have too much of a damage output, but a ton of utility. So that is what teams really want to go for. But this is your draft for now. Marlock, Fennec, Crash, Omen, and Liliana, and they're on the side of Khaleesi team. They have Yon, Dirac, Zenith, Tain, and Roxy.
Welcome to Arena Valor. Get ready. Minions will be deployed in 5 seconds.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first game of the day. Once again, you are watching the game between Liyab Haliya as well as Khaleesi team. Like I said, this is the first time that we will be having the 4 combined regions playing against one another. I'm really excited to see which team will go through to the FSL Elite. It looks like we're going to be seeing the Tain pushing down the mid as well, so Darcy. So pretty standard lineup, not too much of a difference, although it's pretty surprising to see that they will have the Marlock rotating around, or rather in the bot lane, because I kind of expected the Marlock to be in mid, right? And then the Fennec to be in bot, in the jungle, and then obviously they might pick something a little bit different. But because they pick up the Marlock, it's kind of a flex pick. You can put him down middle, alongside the Liliana, then you can also put the Crash down the mid. So in the case of Liyab Haliya's draft, they picked up the Fennec, and Fennec's just jungler, so they don't really have a bot lane. So in order to make up for that, they pick up the Marlock, put in the bot lane, which works as well. A little bit of contest in the middle, nothing to worry about. But interestingly, it's an Omen with a flicker, so that's a little bit of the difference, right? I mean, nothing too much in between these two teams. For now, Tain down the middle up against the Crash, and Darcy against Liliana down the mid lane. I really fancy this Marlock pick. I think this Marlock pick it's really good. We haven't really seen cases of Marlock doing really well, but now top lane, Roxy facing a little bit of engagement, or rather harassment coming up from both the Omen and Fennec bot lane. Marlock still doing really well, but we might see our first gank kind of happen. Unique in a really bad spot right now. Tain tries to go for the stun, doesn't catch him. Managed to go under his tower as well. That's going to open up the Spirit Sentinel for the side of Liyab Haliya. Still struggling with names right here, pretty interesting. Richards, they're not really going to secure the Sentinel, but they want to push for that as well. Tain's going to be not having that level 4 yet. That's going to be the first blood coming in for the side of Khaleesi team, and they might just want more. Tain really committing to the fight right now, but they don't have the Omen by their side. Fennec taking a little bit of poke from the Yon, and they will go their separate ways, but that's going to be the first blood coming in right underneath the 3-minute mark, and it is gonna be the crash that falls first. I mean, Khaleesi team, they're just collapsing right now, and I mean, I can't blame the Omen too much. I'm pretty much GT wants to be with the team, although if you look at the draft, I mean, Roxy is just you can't leave her alone in the lane for 1 second. She's gonna use a second skill, abuse the lane push, and then pretty much get ahead to the farm. But I gotta say, Omen doing really well right now with a 1v1 down the top side. Crash coming to help as well. That's gonna be the spin. Fennec come in. I'm really surprised if Roxy doesn't die here. They have completed so much. Lena goes in for the push. They don't even get the kill. Roxy's still sustaining, but that's gonna be Miura picking up her first kill. I'm pretty sure they wanted to give to the Fennec right there, but hey, a kill's a kill. I'm sure the blue team won't be complaining too much about that. Mid lane, Empress still babysitting Darcy right now. Kaisaya gonna be completing that bow of his, or rather hers. You might see a team fight happen really soon for the side of Abyssal Dragon. I wouldn't be too surprised if someone actually goes for the Tomb Reaper, because there is a ton of sustain coming in from the side of Liyab Haliya. I mean, Khaleesi team, they need to pick up to go against the sustain of the Omen, right? They need to go against that burst damage, or rather the sustain coming from the Moloch as well. But I think the Moloch can go a little bit tanky because he has the pure damage in Cleave, so he doesn't really need too much of a damage output. Green Sentinel once again going in, Kitty committing with the ultimate lead, and are gonna be going right onto him, and they're collapsing right onto Roxy right now. No way out. The top laner will fall for the second time in a row. She's not having a really good game, but that's gonna buy the time and space needed for the Abyssal Dragon to pick up the first Abyssal Dragon going the way of Khaleesi team. Pretty fair trade. Meanwhile, top lane, they will pick up the first tower.
A red team tower has been destroyed.
Darcy doing really decent in mid lane as well. I mean, she has the support of the team, which is always nice as mid lane. Right, you don't really have to worry too much about the rest, or the bot lane might have to say something about that. Unique goes in with the storm, captures out the yaw, but there is no follow-up, and the rest of Liyab Haliya are still taking the time. She does manage to clear up the wave right there. Take coming off the ultimate, manages to survive just by a slither of health, and here comes Crash along with the ultimate. He breaks in for the team. Lena will join as well. Tane might be the first one to fall, gets out just in the nick of time. Empress, and that is the burst damage needed. They pick up the Crash, they might pick up March as well. Good snipe coming in, they pick up the Fennec, and they are on the chase. March now on the run. Liliana uses the dash, gets out in time, but that is a bad engagement for Liyab Haliya. Not only did they not manage to salvage the bot lane, they lose 2 members in that all at one go, and now Devil is along the rest. If Khaleesi team can try to do a little bit of a switch storm once again coming onto the Darcy. And one cleave will do the trick, but it gets out just in time. Darcy doesn't even fall, and Quinn, how is she still alive? Well, once again Liyab Haliya, they commit to the mid defense, and now that's gonna be serious, managing to do a little bit of damage to the top lane. Good damage as well, down to almost, or down to a quarter of HP. Man, Khaleesi team, they're doing everything right now. They got the first blood, they got the Abyssal Dragon, they got so much pressure on lanes. And they might be looking to pick up the second Abyssal Dragon as well. They're clearing out all the brushes around, which is really good, right? You got Empress, a really tanky tank, so she's doing everything right. She's making sure that there's no one hiding, no one going for snipe, no ambush waiting for the yawn. I'm pretty sure that Devil will be really happy with her tank right now. Empress still doing the right things. Meanwhile, Kitty going up against Sirius once again. This is going to be a really tough battle for both of these two players. Like I said, Omen has had the battle top lane between the two. A couple of games coming in opening stages of the game. Managed to get 2 kills as well. So that's always nice to have when you're a top laner, when your team comes to support. But in exchange, Liyab Haliya had to give up the Abyssal Dragon once. And it kind of lost the bot tower as well. So that is the trade-off that they had to sacrifice for. Unique with the Soul Steal. Just make sure she stays up healthy for this fight. And that's going to be the Yawn pushing onto the Abyssal Dragon. Looks like there might be a contest coming in for Liyab Haliya, but it's a little bit too late. The stun up coming in for the team. Miara coming down to quarter of a HP, but does walk away alive. Once again, Khaleesi team prioritizing that Abyssal Dragon, and you can see that it does have a little bit of effect on the lanes, although Liyab Haliya has been doing a really good job at maintaining the farm because of the Moloch in the bot lane and because of the mid lane as well. But now here we go, Storm follow up, Darcy might fall. Finally the cleave comes through, Lina with the bomb gets the kill, and that's going to be first kill of the engage. Crash as well comes out with the ultimate. And the movement speed does help the team to catch up to the rest of Khaleesi team. They take down 3 members. And now they might get 4. Yawn already down. And that's going to be Victor's coming down as well. And that's the threat that Liyab Haliya has been possessing. They do not have really good wave pushing because of the Fennec early game. But you can see that teamfight potential coming out right now. That Omen coming in to get the kill. And the necklace will come up for Moloch as well. So that's a little bit of a magical defense against the Darcy in the next team fight. It's going to be really huge for the side of Unique as well as the rest of Liyab Haliya. When you have someone that can tank up the damage coming for Darcy, you don't have to worry too much about just diving in, trying to catch it. That's what happened just now, right? The Omen got the lockdown. Moloch came in with a perfect stun. And Crash follows some of the ultimate, allows the team to catch up from far away behind. And Khaleesi team were just not ready to have that full-on engagement. Yawn comes in the rain of arrows, gonna be pushing Liyab Haliya back for a little bit. Unique scouting the rushes, while Omen does a little bit of a split push down the bottom. Slick Sting coming out for the Fennec. And that's just gonna help with the burst damage. That's a really quick Abyssal Dragon coming out as well. Teamfight happening right now in the jungle. We have Crash coming out with the ultimate as well. That's gonna help with the push. They might get onto the Tane, but Darcy looks like they want to get this Darcy right now. No stun coming through Devil. Gonna harass a little bit with that rain. And Mia has been playing a really exceptional game. You see her using her ultimate always at the right time, right? It allows Liyab Haliya to do a little bit of, to catch up with Khaleesi team, because although they don't have too much of a mobile in terms of carry, like the Darcy as well as the Yawn, but if you look at the rest, they're really mobile, right? You have the Roxy, you have Tane. It's not the easiest to catch up with to them. Empress trying to hold this one back by her own. Ultimate comes out as well. Is it enough though? No, it isn't. They get the Storm in and the Cleave will pick Empress up. They lost the Tane and now Crash will pave the way for the team. Kitty with the lockdown. That is the target they want and that is the target they will get. Drake still at half HP. They're pushing up the top lane. Kitty meanwhile gets pulled back by Empress. But Kitty will walk out of there. There's nothing they can do. I'm not sure if that is a good wall that's going to keep the Drake out of range. They try and buy as much time as possible. Rictus goes in, but that is a bad engagement. And now they will push right into the base. They get the lockdown to Darcy. Can they have the kill? No, they won't. But they got what they came for. And that will be the first tier 3 tower. Down the top side, Unique gonna start off the Sage Golem. I'm pretty convinced they're gonna give it to the Fennec right here. Or not, they give it to Liliana, which is fine as well. Unique going in. Ultimate still on cooldown. She will be the first to fall. Meanwhile, we still got Fennec starting up this soldier. Look at how quickly Fennec does in terms of objective taking. And Kitty is pushing down mid lane while all of that is happening. So you have this really weird situation with the Khaleesi team where they are committing to team fights, but if Liyab Haliya knows how to play this one properly, they can pick up the bomb turret, they can go for the second Dark Slayer when it comes up. And while all of that happens, they don't really need the Omen there, although Kitty, a really good job on the Omen, you know, catching out the Yawn time and time again, making it hard for, you know, Khaleesi team to position themselves. I didn't mention why I like Liyab Haliya's draft. They have sustain, they have a ton of CC, lockdown with the Maloc, pure damage as well, and then you also have the Fanning, which has a lot of burst. So if you add all those elements in together into one piece, they have pretty much a really balanced draft. Khaleesi team has a balanced draft as well, but there is a lack of mobility in terms of the carries. They don't have too much of sustain. They have Yawn, a really good burst. They have Darcy, but they don't have the DPS needed to really tear through Liyab Haliya's draft. Which is why I was really worried for them. Because yes, the Yawn is really good, right? But you've removed the first pick, you gotta make sure that you're able to take those towers. And now you're starting to see Liyab Haliya pull through with the draft, with the Fanning. They go for Dark Slayer, they have the Maloc and Omen roaming freely in the jungle of Khaleesi team. And there's absolutely nothing that a Raid team can do at this point of time. Emperor is going to be running into March, but it's still a little bit of trouble, but does have to push. Roxy down the bot lane, they want her so bad. But like I said, she's like the only real one that has movement in Khaleesi's team. And now, Drake down the bot lane. It doesn't matter though. They will pick up the Abyssal Dragon and Liyab Haliya. Objectives, objectives, objectives. They failed to get the Roxy. They lost the Crash. But they will settle for second best in terms of objectives, which is the Abyssal Dragon. And that's going to be the Enraged Abyssal Dragon coming up. Bot lane, Yawn. Pushing right through. Only arms coming up from Victorous. And they want to end the game right here. Omen getting stopped for coming back. 2 more seconds before Crash comes in. Look at the burst damage that they have. Storm comes in, catches onto the back line. That is the 2 heroes that they want. And first one to go down is the Tane. Follows up with a second kill of the game. And Unique now on the chase. Devil takes a slash to the face and March is catching up. There's no way this Yawn is getting back in time. And while all of that is happening, Sirius is on a 1v1 with Kitty. You can see the Omen just does so well against this Roxy. And the pullback comes in for the second time in a row. Darcy will come up just in time to bring Kitty down. Has the resurrection. But that is 26 seconds without your Yawn. And with that, it looks like not only do they get the Abyssal Dragon, they can kind of go for the bot lane. And that's going to be the Dark Blessing onto the Fanning. Going to be able to power even more misery onto Khaleesi's team. They have been playing really decently, but like I said, when it comes down to 5-on-5 clashes or even 4-on-5 clashes, Liyab Haliya is just way ahead. Fanning just picking out whatever jungle is left right now. Picks up the Mind Buff, has the Dark Blessing. A good day for Kaisaya. Meanwhile, Victorous and the rest of the team going to be trying their best to push out this. Zen is having a really tough game, but now they pick up Kitty. Omen found roaming all by herself. And finally, Liyab Haliya will pick up the third Dark Slayer of the game. All 3 Dark Slayers taken by the blue team. Coming up to the 17, or rather close to the 18-minute mark. We're seeing a 7k goal lead. Although I gotta admit, as the game goes on, right, Khaleesi team, the longer they can hold this game out, the more that goal advantage doesn't pay any more significance coming into the later stage of the game, because everyone's gonna be max build. So as long as they can, pull this one out, the Yon's damage will still come through. Xannies will get even stronger when the game starts to progress into the final stages of this matchup. The question is, can they last that long for the Yon as well as the rest of the team to actually reach that stage? All eyes on Xannies right now, but Tane a little bit under pressure from Miraya. Storm comes in, catches out not only Roxy but Tane as well. No follow-up coming for the rest of the team. Drake coming into the ball lane. We are trying to buy some time for the rest of the team, but Omen does a little bit of a clean-up job at the back. Marlock's been pushing to meet Crash. Uses the ultimate, he's on his own. Here comes Ileana, has the bomb, comes out to half HP. Sirius might be the first one, and yes, Roxy will fall. Now Empress getting stacked upon 4 members on the side of Liyab Haliya, and they might be able to bring her down. Yes, they do. Tane falls. It's a 5-on-3 right now. Things looking bleak. The Devil trying her best, but look at the burst damage on Liliana. Has to be careful about positioning, but Queen will be the first one to fall among the 3. They pick up the Mount Tower, and at this point in time, it's pretty much GG. Drake still at half HP. Devil, nothing she can do. 1 stomp for the road, and that's gonna be the first game going into the hands of Liyab Haliya. And I gotta say, it's really a draft issue for me. I really think that the draft won them that first half of the game. Nothing too much that Khaleesi's team could have done right there. I think they did really well in the first opening stages, right? They managed to get the first bounty crash. They applied a lot of pressure onto the bottom and the middle lane. The issue was Roxy was suffering in the top side, right? If you look at the builds that they have Mail of Pain, right, which does really well for the Marlock. And look at Marlock's build; he has so much defense, right? Even Hercules Madness is kind of a fighter's build, and you also have the Aegis, which is always nice to have against a lot of the physical damage that Khaleesi's team is putting up upon. Look at that, the rank breaker coming through, and even for Victress, although he has got the Soul Reaver, although she has got the Omni Arms, it's just not enough. Xannies is such a late game character, and if you don't have that early to mid game and your team can't buy you the time to go into the late game phase, then you're gonna have a really bad game. But with that being said, congratulations to Khaleesi. They have game 1, but it is a best of 3, but so it's not over just yet. I think there is still a little bit of a chance coming in for Khaleesi's team. Like I said, if they have a good draft, I think they could have done a lot better, right? They have the Yawn, they have the damage, but they just haven't gotten the Xannies online. That was the issue for me right there. I called it when I saw draft, but hey, hopefully they can do better in the game 2. We'll go for a short break, but when we are back, game 2 between Liyab Haliya and Khaleesi team. Hello and welcome back to the FSL circuit. Once again, my name is Aries, and if you missed out on game 1, don't worry, we have the results coming on my screen right now. In fact, the draft is already going on, so let's just jump straight in, shall we? Khaleesi team up against Liyab Haliya. Obviously, Liyab Haliya winning that first game. They will be swapping sides for game number 2. They pick up the Omen as well as the Quick Knock. Omen doing really well for them in game 1. And we're going to see Khaleesi team ban out the Maja, which kind of leads me to believe that this is pretty much a target ban or a hero that maybe they don't really feel too comfortable going up against. They ban out the Marlock as well. And Marlock just pretty insane coming into the first game. Gotta say, Unique has been playing really well. In fact, the whole team of Liyab Haliya has been playing really well. I mean, the goals have been putting so much pressure in the opening phases, buying time for Fennec, and then that 4-minute mark kind of hit. The Fennec just popped off, right? Objectives taken really quickly, team fights taken decisively as well. They have the Crash with the ultimate setting up for them, the Marlock with the Stomp, Omen with the lockdown, onto Yon twice, Dirac once, and that's more than enough. Right, 3 times is 3 times too much. You cannot have your carriers in the open like that, especially when you have a hero like Tane. The only issue I see with Tane is that Tane is a hero that needs to go forward, right? You go forward with Tane, and that kind of leaves your backline exposed. They have the Zenith, but Zenith is just such a late game character, and you power on the fact that Zenith didn't really have a good early game. That's just a recipe for disaster. But coming to second game, I think Khaleesi's team's draft looking a lot more decent. They have Irie, so they have the stun. They can clear the shurikens. And Irie is a really mobile character because of that 3 dash that she has in the second skill. And to pick up the Violet as a first pick, which is, in my opinion, one of the most stable carries. The only issue I see with Violet is similar to the Zenith, really late game. The Dirac didn't really go through for them in that first game. But that being said, we have seen instances where the Dirac laid a lot of damage with the ultimate and did have a couple of openings when they were pushing down bot lane together. So maybe one thing that Khaleesi team has to look out for is when it comes down to team fight. When you are facing up against heroes like Marlock, you're facing up against heroes like Crash and Liliana, don't stick too close to one another because of the AOE damage that they have, especially in that first game. Second game though, Violet, Irie, Dirac, a lot of burst damage, and Irie is a really good opponent because the ultimate does grant her the shield. The more heroes that she gets a stun on, the more shield she has. So that's an effect that they can kind of put up to use, kind of set up for the Violet, as well as Dirac for the ultimates. But at the same time, we got Liyab Haliya picking up the Joker, which does pretty decently against both. I would say does well against the Violet, right? If you look at MMs, I don't really think any MMs really counter one another. Especially when you look at heroes like Violet and Elsu, both have really long ranges. We talk about Talanas, but Liyab Haliya picking up something a little bit more close combat, especially with the Omen. I like the Quick Knock pick though. The Quick Knock pick is something that does wonders, especially against the likes of Violet, because you need someone that can dive on the back line, and Violet's definitely going to be staying way away from the front, and that's where Quick Knock comes into play if the side of Khaleesi team are not too careful about the Violet, especially in the case where Irie as well as the tank kind of goes forward for the fight. The Quick Knock does have an opening to get the stun, and the other way that Quick Knock can really open the fight is if she sets up an ambush, right? And she kind of spots the Violet in a really bad position. That could be the opening as well. Power that on with an Omen, and you have the perfect setup. Once again, Tane getting picked up for the second game in a row. Liyab Haliya taking away that Tane pick, which is really good, right? You ban out the Roxy, and you pick up the Tane, and not only do you deny the Tane, or rather get the Tane from yourself, you kind of deny it for Khaleesi team, and we saw that Tane was the only reason why they managed to survive so long in team fights coming to game 1. So take away the Tane, take it for yourself. Pile it on top of the Omen. You have a really strong front line. You have a good opening Cricknock now. You have the Joker. All you have to do is just pick up one really good mage, and Murad is open, but Murad is not the best because you need a mid laner. They can pick up the Liliana again. I think Liliana does really well here, right? You have someone that can burst down the Irie. At the same time, if the Dira comes out, rather if the Toro wants to come in, Liliana can just burst him up with the bomb. So, yep, they go for the Liliana lockdown. Kind of expected right there. They were really comfortable with the Liliana in game 1. No reason to change it up. And if you look at Liyab Haliya's draft, essentially they're keeping the same formula right here. They have someone that can dive onto the backline with Cricknock, Omen to kind of set up for them. You change the crash for the Tane. You have Liliana who has been playing in game 1 already. You change out the Fennec for the Joker. So better team fight, but maybe not so good in terms of objective taking because this time around you don't have don't have a Fennec that can burst down objectives. But it's fine. The other team fight is still really strong. But one thing I gotta give props is that now the blue side, they have so much in terms of engagement, right? Khaleesi team, in terms of engaging, I really like it. I think this time around they have so much more in terms of balance. They have Toro, which has to sustain. The only worry I see is, once again, when that Toro and Irie commits to a team fight, who's guarding the backline? Because they don't have the hyper protector. But
Welcome to
we'll have to see how that goes in game 2.
Get ready. Minions will be deployed in 5 seconds. Prepare to engage.
I'm kind of half on this one. Gotta admit right there. Khaleesi team, they have a pretty decent draft in the Irie as well as the Violet. I'm just not feeling that Toro there. Lack of mobility. Although if they can get the Irie to get a good stun in, they might not even need to have too good of a positioning. They can just try to man fight the side of Liyab Haliya. But obviously, like, you have Irie as well as an Omen top lane. You gotta give it to Irie. She's gonna be able to just do well on her own. Use her first skill to kind of clear out the wave. Don't have to worry about catching out the Omen because she has a ton of mobility with the second skill. Looks like we're gonna see a little bit of a pause come out. But I gotta say, I'm really surprised that Krizik is not even touched at all coming into this qualifier, because I mean 84% ban rate coming to Thailand side, 100% ban rate in the Taiwan qualifiers. But now we're not even seeing a slight hint of any of these teams wanting to pick up the Krizik. As a matter of fact, they're not even banning it as well. So just gotta put it out there. Really surprised. Devil definitely gonna be having a really good lane against the Joker. Nothing too much that Unique can do against the Violet. However, we might see our first engagement coming onto the top side right now. Toro up against the Irie, and like I said, there is the lack of movement. And that's gonna be the first blood, especially with the Omen lockdown and the hook. But that means the Abyssal Dragon for Victress and the rest of Khaleesi team. The last time around, a team got first blood. They lost the game. Hopefully this time around, something different. Although I'm rooting for Khaleesi team. I think they have a better draft this time, but that is still not good enough. Irie once again getting caught out. You can see Liyab Haliya priority. I want to say prioritizing top, but they're not exactly bullying the top laner. They're just making really good rotations, right? You spot out both the Toro and Irie. You know that Toro has lack of movement. Doesn't really have the chance to run out of space. Or run out of range. And you just get the easy kill, so can't blame them too much. They're gonna steal up the red buff. Will we see a counter invade coming in for Khaleesi team? Yes, they do. Pretty sure they're gonna pass it to Victorous right here. Omen. A little bit of a pressure onto the top side, although Kitty is doing a really good job at keeping herself out of reach. Good job coming in from Liyab to maintain the waves. I think all eyes will be on the Enzo right now. If Victorous can do a good job in this game, they have a light in it. And she's going to be tasked the responsibility with roaming those lanes, you know, catching out the Joker. Meanwhile, top lane, Quick now going in. They might get an easy kill onto Enchantress, or rather, Cirrus. No idea where the Enchantress came from. Pardon me. But they do get the top tower for the side of Liyab Haliya. Once again, a lot of pressure down the top side, but they will give up the second Abyssal Dragon going in the way of Khaleesi team. And Unique gonna be having a tough time in the bottom side. Gets the first top of the team down. Although they are up ahead. That 1k goal lead from the fight. A team fight coming in right now. Tane comes in, locks down Enzo, but the sustain is good. Quick now, look at that. She's already on the chase for Devil. Doesn't find it. Never mind. I'll pick up the Enzo. And Kitty will come in to clear up the rest of the fight. 2 members down on the side of Khaleesi team. And that's the Fenrir talent coming out for Kitty. So Toro hasn't gotten that second major item yet, or the first major item, and Kitty's already got that Fenrir talent. So I foresee that this is going to be quite an issue for Khaleesi team, because now the Taurus, she's not even, you know, really buffed up yet, and Kitty's already got the ultimate tank shredder in Fenrir's talent, right? Because Fenrir's talent, how it works is that you minus a percentage of the person's health, and that's just really good against tanks.
A blue team tower has been
Joker gonna pick up the bottom side. Burning Cape comes up for Irie. Meanwhile, top side in a 1v1, Kitty will commit to this fight, uses the ultimate. Does Cirrus have an ultimate as well? It's on cooldown, already used. And they will take up the Sage Golem along the way. And once again, they find a Toro. Can they bring down Empress for the 3rd time in a row? Uses the heal. Look at the burst damage. Quick now will commit to the fight. Taking it to the skies. And picks up the easy kill onto the Toro. 3 deaths now for Empress. And the lack of mobility is starting to cost Khaleesi team. I like the fact that they have a little bit more sustain, as well as CCs in the team, but in my opinion, it's just not enough. Because you need to pull it to late game for Valor. And Khaleesi's draft is a really greedy draft right now. They need to pull super late game for the Valor to be able to hyper carry, which Devil is so far away from. Although I gotta say, Liyab Haliya loosening up a little bit, not so aggressive as compared to the previous game. I think Kaisaya could be doing a lot more. She is doing a really good job. I mean, 3-0-2, it's the perfect game that you want to ask for, but I think she could be doing so much more right here. She could be just walking into jungle and pressuring that Enzo, which at this point of time she can. She's pretty buffed up. But never mind that. Kaisaya jumps in, gets it on the 2-man. There's he might fall. And the Toru will keep Mirai as well as Kaisaya out of range. But onto the back line. They lose the Enzo. And Joker is freed up all alone in mid. Look at how quickly Unique is going to be picking that up.
Blue team tower has been destroyed.
Liyab Haliya, when they do not find the kills, they will find your objectives. In the case they pick up the middle lane. 25 more seconds before the next Abyssal Dragon comes up. And we are sitting 4k gold lead for the side of the Raid team. Omni Arm's gonna come up for the Joker. Pretty decent timing. I mean, 9 minutes. Has the rank breaker as well as the Omni Arms. Really quick Abyssal Dragon on time. The moment it spawned, Trickner will pick up the Abyssal Dragon, while the rest of Liyab Haliya will set up for the next team fight. So, if I'm Khaleesi team right now, I'm looking to just pick up any kills that I can, just to even out the score. And in this case, they will run into Keely right here. They're not the best target to go for, and this is the reason why. Because they do not have enough burst damage to not only take out the Omen, but instead, they will lose 3 members of their own. And Empress can do nothing but watch her team fall apart. From that fight, they went on to the Omen, thinking that they could take the fight, but that was just a really bad engagement. Now Empress tasked with defending this mid tower. And at the same time, we have Kaisaya almost going down to Dark Slayer. One more hit. Ooh, Kaisaya playing with fire right there, but go back or go home, they said, and Kaisaya will be walking away with not only the Dark Slayer, but they have the Drake in hand. Close call. But as they say, all calculated. Joker meanwhile pushing onto the bottom side. Unique having a really passive game. I mean, Unique at this point is pretty much like a huge minion just pushing all these towers, bullying lanes. Irie jumping right onto it. Toro trying to get the stun on. Meanwhile, Omen doing a really good job at the backline. And that's going to be the Darcy falling for the 3rd time in a row, 2nd time in a row. And Enzo comes back, tries to buy away and the Liliana, but not before the Violet will fall. Toro falling as well. And that's going to be 4 heroes down.
Triple kill.
While Liyab Haliya lost nothing in that fight. They did not even lose a single member. Drake pretty much at full HP, untouched. And Liyab Haliya can look to end the game 13 and 11 minutes in. And this has been a perfect game. Can they even get 1 kill? Sirius tries to buy time. They can end the game right here. Omen more than happy to give away his life. And they do not even get a game. 14 and 0. Perfect game for Liyab Haliya. And they complete that 2-0. Man, rough game for the side of Khaleesi team. But that being said, they played a lot better. Although the scoreline doesn't suggest that 14 and 0, that doesn't tell any of the story, right? Because you got such a good lineup in the Enzo as well as the Violet. Only question is, why Toro? Because Toro doesn't really offer much early game. Yes, he's really tanky, but that's it. He doesn't have too much of CC. He's really slow, not much movement as well. And that was just the issue that I have. But I think Empress is a really good player. It's just the healer's draft that I have a little bit of an issue with. That being said, congratulations to Liyab Haliya. That was really good. And for those who are wondering, we also have games that are running concurrently. Currently, it's Emmet Hexa up against Exista Gaming. That's happening on the Bahasa stream. So for those viewers out there that want to catch some those 2 games, those are the games going on. But that being said, congratulations once again to Liyab Haliya. They will go into the second